Welcome, everyone. This is AZ Weddings by Amy, wedding officiant Amy Stevens here today with AZ wedding photographer Filippo and Kelly. We've got the
Hey guys.
husband and wife team here today, and we're going to talk all things wedding photography, engagement photos, and video. Welcome.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yes.
Well, I see that you have some of your work behind you, which is always fun. But
Mhm.
let's chat. We have worked together several times with both the video aspect and the photography aspect. So I always enjoy working with the two of you. And
Definitely.
let's just dive in. Let everybody know kind of your background. You're a husband and wife team, but you have others on your team as well.
Yes, we do. So, yes, we have a smaller team, but they are just as passionate about wedding photography and videography as we are. And that's really the most important thing. We fell in love and suddenly being around people in love is just about the most amazing thing. So, we started this company. It's been going now for we're around like 8 years or
Close
so
to 8
ish.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's evolved a lot and turned into way more wedding photography versus we had originally started doing kind of everything until this guy went and booked us this 10-hour job at this wedding, and I was just ready to kill him. So I'm like, I don't even know what you got us into. And so anyway, we did that, and it was one of those moments where we both were like pretty teary eyed at that wedding,
Yeah.
and
The first wedding, just
yeah,
everything came out so amazing. The way they
yeah,
flowed, some of the photos that we had were our header photos for years. I
yeah,
mean, we literally, I would say, good 4 or 5 years, those were our header photos. When we originally started with all occasions photography, which is doing photography for every occasion. So weddings was kind of like a big thing to start. And when we did start it, it was because of we wanted to work with people in love, and that was one of the main things. But one of the other things too was we noticed a lot of the companies out here, they're a little smaller. There may be someone that has maybe a full-time job somewhere else, and maybe they do photography or videography on the side. We set out to do something a little different. We wanted to set out to create a company that really
haters.
caters to the client always, like, so they can get a hold of us anytime. No, I'm not anytime, but you know what I mean. It's just basically throughout the day. We're full time. This is a full time. We're
That's all we do.
100%. This is all we do, and also we have an office, full time office that is available for our clients to cater to our clients. So we set out to do more of a company, but still keep it personalized for the client when we work with them. And so that's what we've set out to do.
And
Yeah.
would you say that majority of your clients that you work with have had their engagement photos done with you in addition to their ceremony?
Yes, absolutely. Two of our main packages include engagement photography. So we tend to, those are probably our most popular packages. We do their engagement photo. They can come in and pick a photographer, and then that photographer will do their engagement photos and their wedding as well. So yeah, definitely we want to do it all. We want to do it all.
And even on packages that we don't have engagement included with it, it is very, like, if you're going to use this for the wedding, it's pretty much discounted by 50%. So it's a pretty nice discount to do the engagement with us, get to know us, and then kind of go from there. And we've had a lot of clients just hire us for the engagement right away, because they see our photos, they see the quality of the photos, but they also want to know how we are with them, how we cater to them, how we, our communication, and they get to learn that pretty quick, that we are on top of everything. We really, really take care of them.
That's
spoil them in a way, because we make sure that we're on top of time wise and the schedule and so on and so forth. So
very hands-on.
Very hands-on.
That's one of the things that when couples, oftentimes I get couples who don't have a photographer already lined up, and they're asking me what time their ceremonies should start, because if it's like a backyard wedding or something along those lines that isn't requiring a venue, I will often say to them, well, first of all, if you're not hiring a professional photographer, you should do that instead of asking one of your family members or your friends to do it. Because exactly.
We hear the stories after every time, and it's like, why did we do that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And even to the point where sometimes we have people that hire us to do the photography, but then maybe have some friends do video, and it's just not the same. It's just, and then they realize after that there is a reason why we're in the business and we do so many weddings, is because we really know, what we need to capture,
how to create a great product.
Well, one of the situations I ran into was the bride had asked her best friend, who was a professional photographer, to take photos. And the friend, at one point, I literally stood there and I stopped the ceremony because she was so emotionally tied to the ceremony and the words that I was saying and that the couple was saying, that she was crying. She wasn't taking photos. And it's like, I just stopped and I'm like, you need to take photos. Like, this is their documentation of their day.
Wow. Yeah,
Now,
absolutely. And also a person, even a really good photographer, it's kind of hard to prepare you for what happens at a wedding. It's a huge adrenaline rush. It's you have to be a time manager. You have to be a person, a MacGyver. You have to be have an eye for photography, obviously, and you have to know your equipment. You have to be able to perform always, in a millisecond. I mean, you're just having to perform, and you want to make sure that you're seeing all of these different things so that that you're getting the exact type of photo that they need. You want somebody who knows how to run all their stuff in manual. We don't run anything in auto. So you have to be able to just change your settings constantly on a dime. And so there is a lot of things that you have to know to be able to just run a day. And so if you're a typical photographer and you're doing a wedding for your first time, be sure to do a small one.
A wedding is not a rehearsal. There's no retake.
Yeah.
exactly.
You don't know where to stand, where to move, the flow of the day. It's all so critical. And, it can really, it could be very stressful for somebody who thinks that they're doing their friend a favor. But in the end, they're like, whoa, oh my gosh, this is way more than I should have bit off to chew.
And in my personal opinion and my professional opinion, don't put that strain, because it will be a strain on your friendship afterwards. But don't put that strain on that situation, and ask them, put away funds, get your funds for your photography, and even do the video. I can't tell you how many times couples have said to me later, oh, I wish we would have videoed this and had somebody do it professionally. So and you hear people who will also say, oh yeah, well, I have this little tiny clip from our wedding that our videographer put together, and I listen to it on a daily basis. Because that first year you're in your high for the, you're coming off of your I-dos, and you get to have that experience. Real quick, I want to come back to the best time of day for photos for a ceremony. So I usually see that it's about an hour to an hour and a half before sunset. Would you say that that's about right?
Sort of. So one thing I like to do is I like to write everybody's timelines for them so that I believe every bride should know it. Whether you go with us or not, I make sure they get that timeline. The perfect flow of the day is based on sunset. And what I do is I look at that golden hour moment. It's usually approximately 30 minutes, which is usually what we end up with the bride. We're always wanting 45. And then what I do is I just kind of go a little backwards from there, and I look at what their family photos are and what their bridal party photos are. And if it's mainly immediate family and bridal party is, a somewhat average size, I'm giving about 15 minutes for the bridal party photos and 30 minutes for the family photos. And so then I do that type of math backwards, and then I put the ceremony 30 minutes prior to that. That's kind of my formula. It's not an exact, because some venues a little different. So usually I question the heck out of everybody. I have a big list that I go through and find out things that will answer my own questions as I'm writing their timeline with them. And I explain everything to them because by the time they're done, they literally know the flow of the day. They understand it. They know the reasons why I chose what I chose. But then I tell them, take this to the DJ, take this to the venue, take this to everybody, show it to them. They might have some things that I'm not thinking of per their venue or what's going on in their situation. And then often they'll come back with a little this or that. And I'm like, okay, well, this is what I think we can do to find that good compromise. So it's always a lot of factors, sunsets at different times. So there's times of year like, Mayish and whatnot that your sunset's happening right in your reception. So how do you handle that? And so I just have a lot of tricks, and I'm going to tell you all the pros and cons, even the cons to my pros. I'm going to just help you understand your day.
And the main takeaway from that is that when we arrive there at the wedding, the client knows very well and is very just at peace knowing that we know everything. We know what's important to them, what we need to capture, where we're going to be, and then we maintain that timeline throughout. And it gives them peace to be able to really and truly enjoy their wedding. And honestly, that's what we believe a couple should be doing on their wedding day. They should be literally enjoying their day while we maintain the time. We're the ones that communicate with Officiant or with the DJ, and we are the ones that coordinate things for them so they can enjoy the day.
Absolutely.
Well, and one of the things that I am a proponent on is constantly in communication with the other vendors. So like, for instance, if I know that there's going to be something really unique within the ceremony, I try to let photographer know and video let you know that this is going to be happening right after this time frame, and you will want to know. Same thing with grooms' entrances. Sometimes there's something either entertaining or off the cuff that, I get wind of that I didn't know about beforehand. And if it's been like the groomsmen entrance, if they're planning to do something silly to the groom and I hear a little bit of that, I try to give the photographer a heads up because you guys don't always hear that information either. It's like it's a surprise that they want to do. But those are things to be documented and to show the faithfulness of the couple in particular. So communication between all of the vendors to me is something that's really crucial and important so that we are creating this very special memory for the couple.
Absolutely. And one other point to that is often as I'm working with them in the Zooms, the couples, I'm helping them come up with ideas to make their day fun, being creative, finding out about them and saying, it would be really fun for you guys to do, something like a cool car exit because he's a car guy and blah, 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 or whatever, something that sometimes they might be like, oh, I feel like just can't quite afford something. It's like, oh, here's what we can do with cell phone flashlights and bubbles. We could do this, something that really helps each and every person capture something cool and create memories that they might not have thought of because why would they even know? They don't plan weddings. So helping them create moments in their day that are unique to them, and really can capture some serious magic that they weren't even thinking of. They just were keeping it, just generic, and there's no need to. It's really fun right now. People are doing different things, and nothing has to be that exact thing.
And if that's what they want, if they want strictly traditional, we're with that too. I mean, it's
absolutely.
But we also know that these days people are looking for something different. They want, some fresh ideas. And we've seen it. We've seen quite a bit of the ideas, so we can share that with them.
Exactly.
Yeah, one of the things I always say to the couples when I first start speaking with them, I'm like, I am kind of an out of the box thinker and planner in regards to your wedding ceremony. So if you're open to that, I'm happy to share things. But if you want things to be more traditional, absolutely we'll stick within that. It's all about their comfort level.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I often get is couples who have high anxiety. And it is a very special day. And for those that I experience who just are feeling out of control on, on their wedding day and being up in front of everyone and that the nervousness that takes place, I recommend to them to do a first look. And what I've learned is that not everybody knows what a first look is. So could you explain some of that?
Yes.
Or a first touch too. Sometimes they don't want to see each other, so they think that that's just not an option at all. But they can do a first touch where they're not actually seeing each other, but they're maybe holding hands and get a moment to speak with each other and calm the nerves down. It really, really does help quite a bit too.
Yes, it's a beautiful moment. We have where the couple, definitely where the guy is a lot more shy typically, and he's maybe even afraid that he's just gonna like break down up there and wants to get that over with. And so, but I ask, no matter what, I always say, are you guys interested in doing a first look or a first touch? Or do you want to, and it's in my questions too, do you want to see them for the first time coming down the aisle? And then I give them all the pros and cons to it. But probably the biggest pro is that it is a special moment, and it can happen right when the bride's walking down the aisle, or it can happen earlier. And the nice part about that is that they have that private moment. They trust their photographer, and they can be emotional and just kind of breathe through it, and kind of, obviously they're marrying their best friend, so it's almost like they get that moment with their best friend, and they get to kind of go through it just alone together in that moment. And it's beautiful. And it's also a beautiful moment even if they don't see each other, because I find that even the first touch is really special because they're connecting on a level that is, they can't see each other. And so there is just something unique about holding hands with that person and sharing a little moment, sharing a little prayer with them, and just knowing that it's coming, So for those people who want to bring in the extra drama and have both, I'm all for it. I want to have another beautiful moment to capture and make sure that their album just has all these beautiful moments.
Absolutely. I think that that's so important. And I also want the audience to know that that you work with all couples. So you believe love is for all, and that's an important feature to as well. And that you create a safe environment for everyone. So, well, fantastic. Well, I've had your website posted up here. So for everyone who wants to go take a look at your website, azweddingphotographer.com. And then again, we're here with Filippo and Kelly. For those of you who are going to be watching a little bit later on, do me a favor and put in the comments on social media or even on the YouTube channel replay, and then feel free to ask your question. And then either Filippo or Kelly or someone from their office will reach back out to give you an answer. And you can also contact them through their website. So again, the website's azweddingphotographer.com. My name's Amy Stevens, and I'm with AZ Weddings, and my website is azweddingsbyamy.com. And for those of you who are starting your planning process, start talking to your vendors, interview everyone, ask those questions, field
Definitely.
with them. And Filippo, Kelly, I greatly appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And don't forget to check out the videos too. They're very cinematic videos. They're not your average video, so
they're on the
check
website,
those out.
Which our website's sort of under construction right now, just so FYI, it's got some construction stuff going on there. But Amy, you're always such a delight. I love working with you, my dear. Thank you so much. And you do a beautiful, beautiful job. You definitely don't try to just do the same old thing, and that's you always bring something very special, and that is a huge passion of ours, to just always try to stay current, stay new, doing fun, cool things, really, really customizing for everybody, because it's easy to get stagnant, and you have to really push yourself to not do that. And just, I really appreciate working with you. You're always just on it. Thank you so much.
Your passion, your passion is very important.
Well, definitely. And I always have to be careful when we work together, Kelly, because if I see that you're crying, and the couple's crying, then I'm going to start to cry, and it becomes this domino effect.
I know, and he's the worst crier of all of them. So. Anyway.
So the emotion sometimes has to get reined in, and we all just kind of pause for a moment.
Yep. A lot of just that deep breath, hold it, and then let it out. That's the answer to all the
Yes, exactly. Well, all the best to you for a fabulous wedding season, and thank you so much for all of your time.
You bet. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Take care, love. Good to see you.